I'm curious about the relationship to your audience. We talked about this a bit, but like from the beginning of this, you know, you are very much the best friend, right? The internet's best friend. And as you grow into who you are today, like we spent a little time on your subreddit. We looked at
That's so fucking scary.
the subreddit's a wild
Scary place.
I mean, the amount of opinions on you as a human being.
I don't even want to know.
Yeah, I mean, you should not.
I will never.
Don't hang out there.
It's not worth
I
it.
will never go on
Don't
there.
hang out there because it's also like, it is just that concept of like this ever-present human that is just watching you and thinking about you and commenting about you. And it's, you know, in the beginning of your career, I imagine that was like a really exciting thing to develop this relationship with a lot of people who saw you as their best friend. But I'm curious your emotional journey through that relationship, because you did build something where people just will watch you do whatever because of their relationship to you. There's a video you made that is like one of the most aspirational YouTube titles and thumbnails, which was "You Totally Caught Me Making Soup."
Which is a great video.
And
even then was
video.
stylistically a little different from what you were doing at the time.
Yes.
It was like voiceover for 12 minutes about you making the soup.
we saw that title and thumbnail.
so
It
crazy.
opens with a shot of peas.
It was
Yeah.
so
Like 6
weird.
peas?
I loved it.
That
I
was
loved
like
it.
an experimental film on
Totally.
YouTube, but it has like 6 or 7 million views. And I looked at that and I like, that is an example I show to people if they don't understand the depth of connection between a YouTube creator and their audience.
Yeah.
Where you can upload something. If you get to actually, again, you might be unparalleled, but you get to a place where you can upload something called "You Totally Caught Me Making Soup" and 6 million people are interested in that.
Well, I can't, for one, I think I can't comprehend it.
Right.
It's very overwhelming. Like it's definitely overwhelming because I feel this immense pressure to provide something to these people who, for whatever reason, I'm getting passionate talking with my hands and bumping everything. I feel a responsibility to be a good friend, you know? And it is weird because they actually do kind of know me. It's not it is not a facade.
Yeah.
So it's really unusual. And I don't feel like, oh, I need to act a certain way now. Like I've been at like a party or at like a bar and somebody's come up to me. And it's like, you already know me. Like you already know me. Yeah, like I'm at a party or I'm at a bar, or like I'm drinking, I'm in like a different setting that you like never see me in. Like but it's still, I don't worry about it because I'm like, because you know me. You're not judging me because you know me. I don't know how to explain it, but it is special in that way. But there's definitely, it's not all sunshine and rainbows.
Sure, of course.
It definitely, because I think also people feel so connected to me that they expect things from me. They expect me to be a certain type of friend to them, if you will. And people get really deeply mad at me. Like as though I cut them off. Like it's like cutting off a friend in real life.
Yeah.
People are currently very mad at me. It sucks. I mean, it's not, it sucks, but I do what I have to do. You know what I mean? Like I can't, and hopefully they'll see that I can be a good friend again, just in a different way. And I am a good friend in a different way now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like on my podcast, it's different.
It's different,
And
yeah.
and some people are like, I don't like that. Totally fine. But then they're like, you're gone because I don't like what you're doing now. And the old thing is gone. So you're gone. I lost you as a friend. Fuck you. And it's like, yeah, but aren't good friends supposed to just,
Unconditionally
love? But no.
Yeah.
I think your fan experience is unique, even just because of the time that you became so popular. Like social media and platforms have changed so much. There are so many people who are available to us that we can consume little parts of on TikTok or Instagram or whatever. But back then, like, there weren't as many of us and there weren't as many platforms. So it was just like, oh yeah, YouTube, Emma, she is like established, she is stamped, and there's not much competition on Netflix. There's not much competition on TikTok.
Yeah.
Of course, there are other creators at the time on YouTube. Like, there's great stuff. But you, at that time, were like the marquee lifestyle creator, and it was like a hit show. So it was more siloed. Now that doesn't happen as much. Like, there aren't as many, or there are
way more.
But there aren't as many people who feel as singular.
I know exactly what you mean. It's very saturated.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of why I can't do it anymore. Vlogging, for example. It has been, there's so much of it everywhere. It's so saturated that selfishly and creatively, it's not a way of storytelling that I feel inspired by anymore. I can't, and by the way, I understand why there's a lot of people vlogging, because it's enjoyable. And also everybody has something different to provide. So it's like, it's a great format.
Also, filming and editing has become so democratized now. Like, man, I used CapCut for the first time like 3 weeks ago, and I was like, wait a second. This is so easy to use and so unbelievably, like, complex too.
Yeah.
Like, you can keyframe, you can punch in, you can punch out.
Everyone knows how to edit.
Yeah, and that took me so long to figure out. And the fact that you can just do it like sitting on your phone, and it's also your camera that you're editing with, is insane.
It's insane.
It's like a creative ego type of thing, because I've thought about this with myself. Like, I really want to be known as singular, like a one of one. What I'm doing is unique. And even in our space, as I start to see more shows that interview creators, talk about the behind the scenes, it makes it like less fun. Like, I feel like I'm all of a sudden less of myself because there are other people doing it. And that's ridiculous.
Yeah, but I get it.
Because, like, of course there should be a lot more people who are telling more stories. That's good. Like, I support that. But yet creatively, it makes me feel like I am less than I was last year.
Well, it feels good to provide something that they can't get anywhere else.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Unfortunately, when you invent something or you create something, it will inevitably be copied, right?
Sure. Especially if it's successful.
Right.
That's the thing. It's like, if it's successful, yes.
True. But it's like, it's tough. It's tough because as much as, you know, we can be honored that people like admire something that we did, it can mess with your head, and it can uninspire you. It also, though, pushes you to do something new and add something new.
Yeah, it's a good challenge to have to be like, so what else do I, but it's almost frustrating where you're like, oh, I arrived. I got to this place where I have always wanted to come creatively. And then you're like, oh, why are they here too?
Yeah.
Like, why are you here too?
I know.
I'm like, I created this space myself. Were you like aware of, like, everyone talks about your editing, and like, I remember first watching your stuff and being like, whoa, this is different. Like,
this is insane.
Like, zoom in,
No,
zoom out. Yeah. Your head
is,
was like exploding at times,
it was a
like
lot.
like shaking.
I felt like I was getting punched, but like kind of in a good way, where I was like, all right, this is like keeping me on my toes.
I love it. Yeah.
Were you aware that you were doing something unique? Because the amount of videos on YouTube that are like, learn how to edit like Emma Chamberlain, or like how many people then did that exact style. Were you aware that you were creating a style? Like, what was that era for you?
No, like, sorry, I had to burp. Okay. So actually, I don't think I've ever told the story. Maybe I have. In high school, my friends and I used to do these like dance routines. Like, we'd make dance routines. I was a cheerleader. Some of my friends were cheerleaders. Some of them were dancers, whatever. But we'd make these like funny dance routines. We'd film them on the webcam of my laptop during lunch. And then during my next class, which was history, I would edit them on iMovie, right? And I would edit them like how I eventually edited my videos, which was like zooming in here, zooming in here. And the reason why I did that was because, I mean, this was just simply for my friends and I's enjoyment, right? The reason why I zoomed in was so that you could see it better. It wasn't like for emphasis or for this or for that.
Right.
It was, but then I started to become obsessed. I was like, this is so fun. Like editing these dance routines is what makes it funny. Like zooming into one of my friends' faces, doing this, doing that. And I don't even remember how that happened. It was such an automatic thing. From there, like I didn't do that on YouTube at first. There was like a period of time where I didn't do that. But then when I sort of let go and I was like, I'm just gonna have fun and be me, my dad gave me the advice. He was like, you should treat your YouTube channel how you treated those videos that you used to make with your friends. And I was like, oh, something clicked. And then I was like, I'm just gonna take that editing style over. And the editing for me was very intuitive. It was like, this needs to be emphasized. This doesn't. This, like, there's no formula. It was just like, what's gonna make this funny to me? I was a very hyper young person. And that is literally how I saw the world, was like zoomed in here, zoomed out here, like text on the screen. Like that was literally how my brain worked. And people started copying it and I was like, this is cool. Like, but then it wasn't cool anymore when people were like, Emma did not come up with this. Or like, Emma, this is not Emma's editing style. I didn't copy anyone. It was very much me. And so I got pissed. I was like, what?
Yeah.
And people were ruthless with me. That was probably the first time I got real hate, was people trying to figure out if this was something that I invented or not. And at the end of the day, I was like, I don't care.
Who cares? Yeah.
But also, like, it was like a war. It was like a battle. It was like a battle with the. It became like, who came up with it? Whose is it? It got really hairy, kind of.
That's interesting.
Where's this battle taking place? Like, is this in the
It's
comments?
all in the comments.
Yeah.
It's like, she didn't invent that. And it's like, I didn't invent a lot of things, but you're copying me. It's okay though. Like it could all be fine. I copy people too. I copy people's style all the time. I probably copied things in YouTube videos. I copied video concepts. We all copy. It's how we learn and it's how we find our own thing. There's nothing wrong with that. But it became a battle and it was hairy, but also I was 16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of these other people are 16.
YouTube is this mix of like high school dynamics and then like very high level film and creative emotions of like, we oftentimes as creators aren't treated with the same status or level of respect as like an artist or a filmmaker. But like the concept, what you're discussing right now is the concept of authorship, right? Of like, that's my thing. I made that thing.
Yeah.
And that's always in question when in filmmaking, when there's a lot of people working on one thing.
Yep.
But like we do as creatives care about that stuff. And I feel like even more today in 2023, people look at us so much like strategists, media companies, entrepreneurs, and sometimes lose sight of the fact that we're just emotional, creative people who like making shit.
Yeah.
And we care about the fact that we made the thing.
We're so protective because we all have like this, there's so much uncertainty in this industry that we're all scared at all times. Like, oh, is somebody else gonna steal my thing?
And then it's over.
And then they're gonna go like this, and then I'm gonna go like this, and then what now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're all a little protective of our creative ideas. Understandably so.
Yeah.
Because we're like, you know.
But you're hard to copy. I would say
Thank you.
today you're hard to copy.
Yeah,
There's
but
always these like, hopefully, if you're a creator, there's something intangible that's like, I can copy your Zooms, I can copy your this, but you're not going to be able to replicate like whatever it is.
Well, that's, I think, what is so, like, it's, this industry is magical because it does celebrate people's individuality. You know what I mean? Like the style of editing, the format, the this, that matters a lot. And for some people who don't show their personality, that's all that matters. But we do have that safety net if we decide to show our personalities, that nobody can replace us, because everyone on this planet has their own unique perspective. Like that makes you irreplaceable if you can show that. But that's a superpower that we all have. You know what I mean?